Long before he was known as Baba the Barber, he was just a man named Sul. He grew up in the heart of the city, where poverty wrapped itself around him like a heavy cloak. He had learned the art of barbering from an old man in his neighborhood, a kind soul who taught him to cut hair in exchange for running errands. But no matter how skilled he became, he remained just another struggling barber in a city filled with them. Sul wanted more. He wanted wealth, power, and most of all, fame. He dreamed of owning a shop so grand that people would travel from far and wide just to get a haircut. He prayed, fasted, and worked tirelessly, but success never came. Then one fateful night, as he sat alone in his dimly lit room, a stranger appeared. He was tall, his shadow stretching unnaturally against the walls. His voice was smooth, almost hypnotic. I can give you what you desire, the stranger said. Perfect skill, endless customers, riches beyond your dreams. Sul, desperate and naive, asked, What do you want in return? The stranger smiled, revealing teeth too sharp to be human. A simple offering, hair, and the essence of those who come to you. Sul hesitated for only a moment. Then he nodded. The stranger extended a hand, and as soon as they shook, the air in the room grew thick. The light flickered, shadows twisted unnaturally, and a deep guttural whisper filled Sue's ears. The pact was sealed. The next morning, when Sue picked up his clippers, he found that his hands moved with unnatural precision. Every cut was flawless, every fade was sharp. He opened his new shop, and within days, people were flocking to him. The money poured in. His dream had come true. But the price of his success had only begun to reveal itself. From the very first day, the shop had rules. Remove your shoes and socks before entering. No one knew why. Some assumed it was for cleanliness, others thought it was for comfort. But the truth was far darker. Beneath the polished wooden floors, the demon lurked unseen. The moment a customer stepped in barefoot, a part of their essence seeped into the ground, making it easier for the demon to feed. Another oddity. Baba had no employees, no apprentices, no assistants. He did everything himself. The shop was large, bustling with customers, yet he never hired help. People whispered, How does he manage it alone? Why is no one ever working here? His cuts are too perfect. It's unnatural. Baba only smiled when they asked, brushing off the questions. He knew the answer would terrify them. As long as they kept coming, as long as they left their hair behind, the demon was satisfied for now. Word spread like wildfire. Celebrities, businessmen, even politicians came to Baba's shop. Every single one left looking better than ever before. But there was a ritual after every cut. Baba would sweep the hair into a wooden calabash, muttering words under his breath. Inside the calabash was a thick, dark liquid, hair mixed with blood, the demon's price. Each sacrifice made Baba's skills even sharper. His fame grew, his wealth multiplied. But each time he poured the hair into the calabash, he felt something shifting inside him. The demon was growing stronger. One evening, a man named David walked into the shop. He had heard the rumors, the whispers of perfection, the stories of the impossible haircuts. He was skeptical but curious. As he stepped inside, he hesitated. He looked around, taking in the grand shop, the polished floors, the single barber working tirelessly. Then he noticed the rule. Shoes and socks off? He asked, raising an eyebrow. Baba simply nodded. It's tradition. David shrugged and complied. As Baba's clippers touched his scalp, he felt an odd sensation, like a shiver running down his spine. When the haircut was finished, he looked in the mirror and gasped. It was perfect. He had never looked better. But as he left, an unsettling feeling crept over him. Something was wrong. Was That night David felt off. He was exhausted more than he had ever been before. His limbs were heavy, his thoughts sluggish. Then the whispers started. At first he thought they were in his head, soft voices murmuring just out of reach. But then he saw the shadows moving, flickering in the corners of his room. Something was watching him. He tried to shake it off, telling himself he was imagining things. But deep down, he knew something had changed after that haircut. Determined to find out the truth, David returned to the shop the next night. This time, he waited until Baba left. He snuck into the back, heart pounding. There, he found the calabash. Inside was a mixture of hair and something dark, pulsing as if alive. The air was thick with a foul smell. He heard whispers, coming not from his mind this time, but from the shadows around him. And then he saw it, a figure barely visible, lurking in the darkness, watching. David stumbled back, realizing what was happening. This wasn't just a barber shop, it was a feeding ground. The next day, David confronted Baba. I know what you're doing, he said, his voice low. I know about the calabash. Baba's face remained unreadable, but his grip on the clippers tightened. You don't understand, Baba said. I made a deal, and once you enter this shop, you're already a part of it. David's blood ran cold. What do you mean? You left something behind, Baba whispered. A part of you. Before David could react, the shadows in the shop twisted. The air grew thick. The room darkened. Then the demon appeared. A swirling mass of darkness, shifting and writhing, its hollow eyes locked onto David. It hovered over the calabash, feeding. Baba dropped to his knees. I can't stop it, he whispered. It's too late. The demon roared. David had a choice. He could walk away, let the demon continue its reign, knowing he had already been marked, or he could try to stop it. But how do you fight something that isn't human? Then he saw the calabash. If the demon drew its power from it, destroying it might break the curse. With one swift motion, David grabbed the calabash and held it to the ground. The clay shattered. The dark liquid spilled out. The demon shrieked. Baba screamed as the shadows consumed him, his body twisting as if being pulled apart. Then silence. The shop was abandoned after that. No one saw Baba again. And David? He walked away. But sometimes at night he still heard the whispers.